Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Kenny from the Bla-Bla Club. And we are live once again to give you some fun, interesting, fun little things all about English. Now, I hope you've all had a lovely week. For me, my hair is getting longer. It's a bit crazy because obviously I can't go to the hairdresser. The hairdresser. Uh, so going to the hairdresser is not allowed during the lockdown. So for me, it's a bit, it's a bit difficult. But not to worry, I'm here, and today we're gonna look at some interesting words, that might cause problems for people. Okay. When another thing is when you arrive, if anyone comes along, a big shout out to David Fraser and Peter Head and his family. We've definitely got one person watching, which is always nice. I never know if I should start straight away or I should like wait, a few minutes before everything, more people come along and watch it. Now, where am I from? That's a big question. Where am I from? I'm from Scotland. Okay, I'm from Scotland, and people make jokes about people from Scotland that if you're from Scotland, you're from Scotland, but you speak English very well. It's not funny. Okay, it is true that people have strong accents in Scotland. It's very true, but we could almost say that it's not an accent, but it's a dialect in itself. And what is the difference between a dialect and an accent and a language? Well, people where I'm, it all depends. Now, many of you might know that I have a son. I have a beautiful 2.5-year-old son, and his name is Jan. Now, Jan, um, I found myself saying to him, instead of hold this, normally you'd say, can you hold my phone, for example. Actually, I would never say hold my phone to Jan because he would break it. I would say, didn't say hold this. I said hold this, hold this. Okay. And that's a big difference between hold this and hold this. So I had a little panic. I was worried I was teaching him bad English. But hopefully today I won't be teaching you bad English. Okay. Today I'm going to be teaching you some of the pronunciations of things. The second thing I want to do, and I don't know if it will work or not, is that I'm going to be talking about some pronunciation things, some pronunciation. So one of the problems with pronunciation, especially for my Spanish or Catalan speakers, is sometimes the short I. For example, the difference between seat and sit, seat and sit. SEAT, as in like a chair or a seat, or sit, as in the verb sentirse. Okay? And there's a difference. Can you see it? Seat and sit. Seat and sit. Does my mouth do something? I can see it in my mouth. Seat. It's like a smile. Sit. Sit. I don't smile when I say sit. So then when we use that, that's one of some of the key differences between seat and sit. Seat and sit. It works the same with Pete, as in short for Peter, and Pete. Okay, or bit. Bet I bet my friend. No, I did not bet my friend. Luis Suarez bet his friend. Bet, and you can beat the drums to beat something, as in Manchester United beat Arsenal 3-0. 3-0, not 3-0, 3-0. Talking about scores, we always say 3-0. So beat is was ganar, as in to ganar contra alguien. So to win against somebody, we use the term beat, but we use the term bit as a short. So you can tell me computer bits. Okay. Can I have a bit of your cake? Can I have a bit of your chocolate bar? Okay, we use bit. It's a short bit. But there are many things. Now, I really want to try to do something. I want to try and share my screen. Now, I've been trying this earlier, and I don't think no, I can't share my screen now once it started, which is a shame because sharing my screen would allow you to see what is written on my thing. Unfortunately, Facebook does not allow me to do this. But here's the trick. Because I can't do anything, I can give you certain things on the chat. Okay? And nobody's watching just now, so I can say whatever I want. Fuck, boobs, tits, crack, ass, and things like this. So I don't know if I should just wait until somebody comes or if nobody's coming at all. I mean, I posted it to a lot of people and things like that, and hopefully people come along. Maybe, oh, wait, they have somebody here. So I'm going to post a little bit at the bottom in the comment section. If you're watching just now, hi, I can see that you're watching. Hi. Oh, two people, I can see that you're both watching. If you're watching, just say a little hi, a little hey, or hola, or cómo estás, or muy bien. Whatever you want, just say it, just so that I know that you're watching. And then I can post more things. So we're looking at a bit of pronunciation. And my pronunciation, of course, is very good. But sometimes we'll look at some words that we might be making mistakes with. Okay. So the word we're looking at is where am I? Here we go. This is the first little pronunciation problem we have. Breakfast, 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 breakfast. It's the final T in this one. It is very common to try and eliminate this final letter. Okay, it's very common amongst people that I know when they're using the term with the final t at the end, they omit it. Please do not. I'll give you an example. The first one I said was breakfast and breakfast. Breakfast is a t, it's a little t at the end. I can swim. I can't swim. If you're in the habit of omitting that T, the difference between I can swim and I can swim is very big. Okay? I sometimes have to ask my partner, my beautiful, wonderful partner, Laura, I have to sometimes ask her, did you say can or can't? Cannot. If in doubt, say cannot. Okay? But that final t at the end is very important. This also goes well with things like asked. Okay? Sometimes we omit it in all these simple past verbs. Things that we sometimes make problems is also in these past tenses, things like I talked to my friend. Okay? If I say I talked, there's that t at the end. Please be aware and please try to force yourself to say talked and t at the end. So when we're doing it, so remember can, can't. And it's little t. It's not very strong, it's not for very long, but it's important to do it. The next one, okay? The next one is all about these ones. The mine are horrible, but teeth. We sometimes, and listen, not me, I'm not the kind of person that would do this, is about the pronunciation of people. Now, There was a very famous, if you can find it, wonderful show in the 1990s, and I'm old. You see, I'm old. The 1990s called The Fast Show. And they would make a generic joke about Spanish speakers. Please do not be offended. But they believed that everything in Spanish was Botros gali. Okay. Okay. Now, the problem is this, that sometimes that you have a sound, but you don't use it when you should. This, this cup, this, this. We put the tongue out and back in. We're using this. There. Do you see my tongue? My tongue goes out and then back. This, this, there, then. The tongue must go out. Okay? Even if you put your hand to your mouth and say this, your tongue will touch your fingers. Try it now. This, 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 there, then. Thursday. Ooh. Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday is martes. Jueves is Thursday. Dimarts, dijous. Tuesday, Thursday. Tuesday doesn't have the tongue going out. It's like chabby. Tuesday. Okay? But Thursday absolutely does. Thursday, the tongue goes out and in. Okay? Not too much, not Thursday. No. Thursday. Thursday. Theater. Oh, thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. Do you see my tongue? Thank you. The tongue comes out and comes back in. Okay. Another one. And another one. Ship, sheep. Oh, the e problem. Okay. Sometimes when you see in books and dictionaries and English textbooks, you will see the small schwa. I can't remember what it's called. To be honest, schwa, and in the schwa, you'd have it's this sound. Does not exist. Does not exist in Spanish. I get it. It does not exist. But in English it does. So remember, sit and seat. Sit and seat. Now, for many of you guys who know, I'm going to be doing more and more work with this. I'm going to be doing some interviews in the future, and when I do my interviews in the future, I'll be I'm going to be doing interviews with people. This is new. This is like a surprise for people that are watching this. Maybe you watch this on repeat. The surprise is this: I will be downloading videos of interviews I'll be having with people. Okay, I'm going to be trying to interview a selection of people with different accents. Okay, so even though the people have accents, and everyone has an accent, except me. No, that's not true. Everyone has an accent, but if you have, it doesn't matter the accent. Everyone has an accent, but it's about the pronunciation. Okay, there's a difference between mispronouncing and having an accent. So you might always have an accent, but you can always pronounce correctly. Okay? Okay. So moving on. There's the funny one with saying yoke. That's a very funny yoke. It's a j sound. J. Joke. Jump. Django Unchained. It's a j. This DJ sound, it happens a lot. Would you? English uses this a lot. Okay, so try and remember this. Try and use this. Okay. Now, look into my eyes. I want you to focus. Right? Not I want you to fuck us. Understand? This is the pronunciation mistake between focus To focus, to pay attention, to concentrate on something is focus, not focus. This is a big pronunciation problem with fo. One little pronunciation wrong changes the meaning. Okay? There are other little pronunciation mistakes that I find people making. Little things. Oh, careful between can't and cunt. So is this one. I can't do my homework. No, I can't. Open Um, now, ask me a question. She asked me a question. This causes major problems. The pronunciation of pedir, of ask, ask, sk, ask. Ask me a question. Not ax me a question. Not ax. This is an aka, which you can cut trees with. No, ask me a question. Um, Another problem we might have is also with the stop and stop, putting an E in front of the S's. Now, there are there are very few words. I was going to say there's very few words. A lot of nouns in Spanish that don't have normally don't start with S. But English, we cannot use the word There's a difference also between special and especially. Especially exists. Means particular for you, particularmente. So you have to be careful with using the E at the end of this. Do you play any sports? No. Do you play any sports? Try to eliminate that. Okay. Now, I did say, I wanted to do um, a couple of things, and of course, if I read them to you, because I cannot share the screen, which is a very big pain in the ass, you will now have to look at the chat. It's a shame I can't actually put anything on the front of the camera. I can't print something off. It's a shame. Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to I've put some things in the chat. If you look at the chat, you will see some things. Oh yeah, if you can do any likes and loves and things like that, I would love that. Okay, I would love that. Hey, Lazarus likes it. Are you watching? That's awesome. My friend from Greece. Uh, of course, it's different. That's the other thing that every country has different problems with pronouncing things in English. I heard that in Germany they have a problem with pronouncing the word squirrel. Squirrel. They have pronunciation problems. They say squirrel, and they say esquirol in Catalan and some ardilla in Castellano. Now I wrote them at the site. If you look at the comments, I've given a list of pronunciation things, and I'm going to pronounce them. And this will give you an idea that in English we sometimes have the same word. These are homonyms. We have the same word, but they can be pronounced differently. Okay, it's the same word, but it's not the same pronunciation. Okay, and this causes some problems when you see a word and you pronounce it one way and when it should be the other way. Okay, and this can cause a major problem. Um, so, and I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read you a poem, and if I can find it. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Here it is. Dearest creatures in creation. I'm gonna read you a poem, and I like poetry. And if you're lucky, I might read you some Burns. Burns was a very famous Scottish poet. Of course, he didn't write in English; he wrote in Scots. So I will take a drink of water because. Wait, where's my water? I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm going to try to pronounce this very, very well. And I'll try, and I'm going to try to post this on the. I'm going to try and post this as well, so you can see this as well. Um, and what it is. Oh, very good. I'm liking people liking. Where am I? Oh, I've lost it. Okay. Dearest creature in creation, study English pronunciation. I will teach you in my verse. Sounds like corpse, coarse, horse, and worse. I will keep you, Susie, busy. Make your head with heat grow dizzy. Tear in eye and dress with tear. So shall I, or hear my prayer. Just compare heart, beard, and herd. Dies and died, lord and word. Sword and sword, retain and Britain. Mind the latter, how it's written. Now I will surely will not plague you with such words as plague and argue, but be careful how you speak. Say break and stake, but bleak and streak, cloven, oven, how and low, script, receipt, show, poem, and toe. Now, a lot of those words um, had a lot of the um, the same word but different pronunciation, and that can cause major problems. So when you see a word for the first time, don't don't be shocked if it's pronounced slightly different. Do you understand? So sometimes it can be slightly different. So, like I said, hopefully some of you have seen some of the things we've got on the side on the chat. Please look at the chat and you will see some things. So the first one, how do you think? The bandage was wound around the wound. Oh. So wound is the past of wind. To wind, for example, wind a clock. So when you turn a clock, is to wind a clock. And it's not the same as wind, okay? But it's written the same. And the wound is the lesion, the injury, the cut you might have if you from an injury. The bandage was wound around the wound. The farm was used to produce produce. This is one of my favorites. Okay? The farm was used to produce produce. Now, this can be used in many ways. This is the difference between the verb produce and the noun produce. Do you see the difference? Produce, produce. Produce, produce. Where's the stress? Ah, tell you a secret. Let me tell you a secret. Shh. One of the first times, no, actually, it was the very first time that I met my beautiful, wonderful partner. Okay? Now we have two children. When I met my wonderful partner, I had been running the Bla-Bla Club. This is my Bla-Bla Club. I've been running it for many years. I was running it, and one night, this beautiful angel came in, and we started talking. And she asked me the most interesting question. She asked me, "Is there a difference in the pronunciation with the word research?" Now, research can be a noun, recerca. It can be a recercar. It can be a noun and a verb. Okay, so she's involved in research. Okay, so to research something is the verb, and research is the noun. Research. So the stress is at the end. And research, the stress is at the start. So when you're using the verb and the noun, that's the difference if it's the same word. Okay? It's the difference is the same word. Okay. We're gonna jump one. Well, no, I like that one. The dump is the shaya, the place where you put the rubbish. You know how if you go basura, where it goes. The dump was so full that it had to refuse more refuse, more refuse, more refuse, more refuse. Oh, I can't pronounce it correctly. The dump was so full that it had to refuse the refuse. The refuse, this is the sound of the z. We have this several times. The difference between close and close. Okay. So this is the difference between to close. Can you close the door? Close the door. That's with a z sound. And cerca, as in cerrar, is to close the door. Cerca is close. So I live close to the beach, but I can you close the door? Ropa is clothes. This clothes. This clothes. This is another one. It causes major problems. Okay. So be careful with the S if it's pronounced with an S at the end or a Z at the end. Okay. This causes problems. Be careful. Look at your books. Okay. If you want to be better, look at the books if it's an S at the end or a Z at the end. Next one, I'm going to refuse one. We must polish, as in polver, as in to dust the Polish furniture. If somebody from Poland is Polish, okay. For example, my friend Albert, he is married to a beautiful Polish woman. Okay. I went to Poland in September, and I drank lots of Polish vodka at the wedding. Vodka. Do you see what I'm doing with my lip? The vodka. What is something that doesn't occur in Spanish and Catalan? It's the V sound. Okay. So you need to try to remember if it has have, for example, saying the word I have a class tomorrow. I have a class tomorrow. No, you don't have a class tomorrow. You have a class tomorrow. V, v. Get the habit. How am I making the v sound? How do I make the v sound? I make the v sound by using the top of my teeth on my lip. V, v. Very good, not very good. No. V. You need to think of this. Vampires, vampiros, vampires. If it's a vampire, they will bite you. So you have to remember vampires bite. Okay, so that's an important distinction you must make. When you're using V, you must make the teeth touch the lips. Okay, vampires. Okay, voluptuous Venezuelans viewed volcanoes in Venice. I know I know there's no volcanoes in Venice, Venetia, but it's the habit of this the sound. On that note, one of the words, my God, and listen, I adore the people from here. I adore you. But unless we talk about the pronunciation errors, you will not go from being a great speaker of English and knowing a lot of things, and avoiding words. Okay? Please don't avoid words. You start to avoid words like the word would. Would. As in, I would like to drink a coffee. I would. There's no problem. You can use the contraction I apostrophe D. I'd like a cup of coffee. But if you're asking the question, you get scared. I know, I understand completely. I get it, I understand. So you have to then change it. You have to change from I'd to would. William Wallace would whistle while working. Répétez, s'il vous plaît. William Wallace would whistle while working. Okay? William Wallace would whistle while working. Where was I? Ah, yes. Pronunciation. Okay? So be careful with your V's and be careful with your would. Okay? That's another most important thing. The next one I have is the soldier decided to desert his desert in the desert. Oh, even I find that difficult. The soldier decided to desert his desert in the desert. Difference between these two. Desert and desert. Okay, that's a key one, I think. Desert and desert. Dessert, dessert is the food, the pastry, the food you eat. And to the desert is this like the Sahara Desert or the any area where there's too much sand. Okay, out the Sahara Desert. Okay, I know it's off topic, but if you're ever asked what is the largest desert in the world, the answer is Antarctica. I know, Antarctica. There's an area in Antarctica where it hasn't had any precipitation. Precipitation meaning rain or snow. And this area is larger than the Sahara Desert. So if anyone asks where the largest desert is, it is Antarctica. Ah, well, I like to, I like knowing these small things. Okay. Um, while I was at it, I thought of something and then it's gone. Okay, so um, as I said, I have a lot of these here. I don't want to go through them all because they take a lot of time. Okay, I don't want to go and push it and push it and push it. I want you to, hey, if you want, because nobody's watching just now, so that's fine. Send me a message if you can, if you're interested in this. Oh, yeah, Joseph was watching for a bit. Fantastic. Maybe he's turned off. Maybe he's turned off. Maybe that's fine. Um, one of the I see. I think of something and then I get totally distracted from what I was doing before. Okay. Ah, that's it. That's it. I want to do two more things before we stop. Okay. That was a lot of time spent on pronunciation. Pronunciation. So after the pronunciation errors, you have to be careful with pronunciation errors. Remember, it doesn't matter if you have an accent. Everyone has an accent, but you must be careful how you pronounce things. Okay? Try not to pronounce them incorrectly. Okay? So, what I wanted to do was, well, the problem is if nobody is actually watching live, it's kind of hard for me to justify. And I can just sit here and I can just drink my Coke and things like that. And I think anyway, we had we had we only had one person, two people watching at any one time. I would love more people to watch it. I think it's very important. It's very nice if more people come. And of course, it's nice when you do it live, but of course, I would like you to also try to watch these things again. It's too late. It's too much time to spend looking at the issue we might have with a number of people watching. Okay, I don't want to spend my time just for one person. I only see one person just now, but we need to try to get more and more people watching. Okay, because if you watch and I enjoy it, and then I'm more active and more I don't know, I'm more excited. I will soon be doing short videos. The thing is this. I have two beautiful, wonderful children at home, and they take all my time during the day. My wife works, so it's very difficult to do both things. So at night, I'll be doing this on a Wednesday. I like the live sessions. I think they're funny, and it's just me talking. Okay, but what I would like to do is make short videos. So if you watch this and you're on and you want a short video, on any topic or you want me to teach you something. Because if you are finding it difficult, then I promise you other people will too. Okay. So the next thing is this. This term is because I'm doing a lot for the Spanish and Catalan market is a tense that we just don't use. If you want to go from upper intermediate or intermediate to upper to more advanced, you have to start using present perfect. My God, I can go through whole days without hearing people using present perfect in my classes. Okay, my partner, she kind of doesn't use it as much. English people, native speakers, you don't know what it is. If you're a native speaker, you just use it. We're never really taught what so that's another question I'm going to ask people. You may have been studying English, okay? But in Scotland, we were never told what each tense was. We were just told when we used it. That was it. That was it. We just went, no, no. I'm going to tell you this. There's a couple of things with present perfect that we use a lot. Maybe Spanish, Catalans don't so much. I'm going to show you a little thing, okay? There are certain times we use it, which can be very useful for you. So, the first time with present perfect. How many times? How many times, when we ask you how many times, we're asking the present perfect. 90% of times. How many times have you been to France? I have been to France 20 times. How many times? How many times do you speak to your mother in a week? I, you know, That's not the same. That would be how often. Ah. So when we're using it with frecuencia, be careful with frecuencia. With frecuencia, frequency, we use how often. How often do you practice judo? How often do you call your mother a week? Okay, so that's with frequency. If we're using frequency, it's not using present perfect. Present simple. That's how often. But if how many times of an event in the past, we use the present perfect. Okay, and that's one of the key ones we use it for. Okay, next one. This was an interesting one. What is correct? What is incorrect? I ate cereal, not cereals. I ate cereal for breakfast. I ate cereal for breakfast. And I have eaten cereal for breakfast. What is the difference? Ah, what is the difference between I ate cereal for breakfast, Frosties, oh, I love Frosties, and I have eaten cereal, Frosties, for breakfast? What's the difference between the two? Hmm. Hmm. No, you don't know? Okay, here's the difference between the two. I ate cereal for breakfast. I can say this when breakfast is over. It is finished. It is complete. The morning is over. The morning is complete. The morning is gone. Hecho. No more. We use that where it's no longer morning. So 12:01, because after 12, it's not morning. So remember that when we say good morning, before 12, good afternoon, after 12, good evening, when it's getting dark, more or less. Yeah, 6, 7, 8. We only say good night when we go to bed. Okay? We only say good night when we go to bed. Okay? So remember that's the difference. But anyway, talking in the morning, present perfect. I ate breakfast. You use this when it is no longer morning. We use I have eaten cereal for breakfast when it is still morning. At 11 o'clock, what have you eaten for breakfast? Oh, I've eaten cereal. Just remember that when you're speaking in a very natural way, sometimes that doesn't matter. They're both the same. We also use I have just, acabo. I have just seen Maria. I have just seen Maria. So we use present perfect when very recent actions. We use it when it's very recent actions. So I have just seen Maria. Okay? I have just gone to the bank. I have just gone to the toilet. That's not true. I have just drunk some juice. I have just done something. Okay? And I'm going to continue along that thing. I said we use present perfect, which just recently, or the time event hasn't finished. So when I say this morning, I have eaten cereal this morning because morning's not finished. I have been to the bank 3 times this week because this week is not finished. Okay? It's only Wednesday. Okay? I have read 3 books this quarantine. Is the quarantine over? No, no, the quarantine's not over. You understand? So we use the term I have when the present perfect if the time event hasn't finished. So if the year hasn't finished, we use I have. Okay? If we use it in those types of way. Okay. So I'm gonna ask some questions. For example, if I says how many bananas did you eat last week? You might say, I ate 3 bananas. I said this week I have eaten only 2 bananas. How many bottles of whiskey did you drink last month? Mm, And well, I'm just got this so in March I drank 7 bottles of whiskey. Not true. I don't drink alcohol. And this month I have drunk. So if the month is not finished, we use it that way. Okay, that's a very short little bit about the use of present perfect. Okay. Now, there's only one person online, and that person will be saying hello to me, I'm sure, at some point. No, no one's saying hello to me at all. It's a shame we can't cross post. What's that? No, no. Listen, if there's only one person watching, and I don't know who it is, and I'd love to see you, I'm thinking of 45 minutes. If there's anything you want to talk about in the future ones, please let me know. Last week I was talking a lot about uh, different different things, and please look out. Please go back and watch the videos that are on our website. They're on the Bla-Bla Club meetup page, and I was talking about things like what we might be suffering from in the coronavirus times. For example, we have you may be suffering from cabin fever. What is what is cabin fever? Cabin fever is when you're um, a cabin fever is when you're stuck inside a room and you cannot leave. And you really want to leave. Okay, that's called cabin fever. Okay, and you suffer from it. Okay, so remember sufrir, to suffer from cabin fever. Oh, you might be bored. Oh, I don't know. It's a million things to do. There are literally a million things to do. Not just watch my videos, of course, but if you could be bored to tears, you're bored to death, bored out of your mind. Maybe my accent, maybe my voice is putting you to sleep. Maybe that's what's happening. Am I boring you? I don't know. And it's I hope not. I hope not. I hope I'm trying to make your life a little bit more interesting. You may be cracking up. If you're cracking up, it's your brain, your head is just because it's so stressful. And so I hope you're not cracking up, okay? Because that's a negative thing. If you're cracking up, it means you're going a little bit crazy inside. Maybe climbing the walls. Yeah, escalar las paradas because you want to escape, but you can't escape. Well, now you can if you have children. I would like to know what you think. I mean, I think when I speak to my friends and we talk about what's happening in the at the moment, and people are taking advantage of. Never take profit. That's another common mistake. I want to take profit of the situation. No, you take advantage of the situation. Aprovechar or aprovecharse. You take advantage of the situation. Okay, so the moment you are taking advantage of the situation and you are watching me, this will help you with your English. You're going to be hearing and seeing lots of things like this. Okay, listen. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna stop there. I hope you have a fantastic day. But before I go, I'm going to talk to you. One more thing is about I'm going to teach you some Scots. Ah, you thought that was it? No, not yet. It's just for 5 minutes. Now, I am Scottish. This is how I speak. This is my accent. But of course, not everyone um, in Scotland speaks like me. We have two voices. Like here in Catalonia, where they speak both Catalan and Castellano, and they understand perfectly. Um, Growing up in Scotland, we understand most accents, and we understand the choice of words. And I'm going to go back to my original point. One of the first things is when you mispronounce something, another person might not understand. So when we were children, my father was very strict, and he tried to make me speak as clearly as possible. I don't know what happened to my brother. My brother, I don't think he cared. So he speaks with a very broad Scottish accent. Okay. So, but in Scotland, it's probably more common to use the term with can and can't is can and canny. For example, I say I can't dance. I can dance. I can't dance. In Scots, we say I can dance and I can't dance. I can speak Castellano and I can't speak Castellano. I can speak Spanish and I can't speak Spanish. Now, the thing is, see, when I'm starting speaking on Scottish and all that, it's actually difficult for a folk to understand what I'm saying. The thing is, it's not like it's a problem for me to go into like the dialect and all that. The thing is, when I say that I've been like speaking like pure like Scottish, sometimes this thing is, see, when you're from different parts of Scotland, you can understand me. If you're from Scotland and all that, I'm pretty sure you can understand every word I'm saying and all that. And but the thing is, I reckon that if you're naffy like Scotland and all that, you're probably for England or if you're a foreign country and all that, you find that it's actually difficult for folk to understand what you're trying to say. Because the thing is, it's not like it's a different like accent and all that. It is an accent, a nice accent, but every word I'm saying is pronounced slightly differently. So I would always say that like speaking of Scots and all that can be a wee bit difficult to understand and all that. Because you don't understand what I'm trying to say. Understand, 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 understand. So this can be the thing. Every single place you find has different accents, dialects. And what you heard there was me speaking quite broad Scots. Now, if you could understand what I was saying, that's then you're Scottish, okay? There's no doubt about it. And maybe you're from the north of England, but anywhere else, maybe you're Irish, possibly Irish. Um, but there are areas where it's extremely difficult for people to understand broad Scots, and that mine. That wasn't that bad. You could imagine if my friend David Fraser and his kids. Well, no, David speaks very polite. He's very yes, but if you're to speak very broad Doric, fare which you fay, loon, chavanawa, it's impossible. But it's not. Learning accents is also very important. Okay, but it's important, number one, to improve how you pronounce things in English, and then secondly, pronouncing things after understanding from different accents. So that's one of the things. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful week. It is Wednesday. People, if you're working, that's great to hear. Have a wonderful time, and thank you very much. Oh, someone just tuned in, and I'm just about to sign out. What a shame. And you missed it. You missed me speaking proper Scottish. Hey man, how you doing, man? I'm for Conan and all that, man. I speak pure dead brilliant Scottish and all that, man. I don't know who that is and all that. So he's like, see if I pure like damn man speak like pure Scottish and all that, man. It's almost impossible for people to understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Aye, sorry about that. So I'll try to like this was a class about pronunciation, and it's important to pronunciate and enunciate as well as you can. Guys, I've had fun. I hope you have too. I hope you learned some things. That's the most important thing. The more you learn, the better. Guys, have a wonderful night. Have a good week, and I'll speak to you soon. That's me logging off. Goodbye from Kenny from the Bla-Bla Club. Kenny.